Football is meant to unite, Commissioner, but this year thousands cannot go. They're left out due to travel bans, visa restrictions. L'Équipe here, a French daily, kind of captured the mood this year, the kind of vibe that's overshadowing a lot of the headlines. How will these games bring the world together if so many people are left out?
Well, for starters, I hope that this World Cup will be remembered for pure football excitement, for the joy and passion it brings on the pitch, but also for millions of fans around the world who, in times like these, come together in squares, in bars, in cafes to watch their favorite teams. Of course, it's about accessibility. These decisions on who has access are for the host country also to take decisions on. But I hope that this will be one of the World Cups that's remembered for football excitement and for the joy it brings.
Because the reality is that is not the case. We've seen one top African referee, a Somali national, he cannot enter the US, he cannot participate. And these are the headlines that are overshadowing and kind of dampening the mood this year.
Well, of course, you always have around big sporting events, whatever they are, controversies. And these are, of course, issues that merit attention. But my hope is that for the time being, we focus on sport, on football, and on the joy it brings.
And what about Iran? We saw some lady there, she was expressing her hope that Iran would win. But we've seen many Iranian Americans out on the streets as well, telling FIFA they should have cancelled Iran's participation due to the ongoing war, because the Iranians are using their players to trying to make themselves look good on the world stage. What's your view here?
Well, it's good that finally there is a solution and the Iranian national team can participate in the tournament. I think the Iranian team qualified and on merit they should participate. So I think it's good that finally they can be on the pitch and show the world what football is about, which is bringing people together and bringing countries together.
Bringing people together, of course. And it's the topic that we dived into as well this week on The Ring. That is Euronews's debating show. We asked, did Donald Trump perhaps, kill the vibe a little bit this year? We've seen ticket sales and hotel bookings are below expectations, especially in the United States. We can take a listen now to two MEPs that were debating in the European Parliament this week. The Austrian MEP Lucas Mandl and Rasmus Andersons from the Greens.
Dear colleague, you have advocated for boycotting the World Cup. I don't agree with that. I think the excitement about football is much bigger than politics can ever be. And the direct question would be, how would you explain to, let's say, a child excited about football, just interested into football and this exciting game, how would you explain to such a child to boycott the game?
I did not advocate to boycott the tournament, especially not for supporters. But what I think politicians should do is to take a clear stance and to criticize both the FIFA but also the current US administration on the mistakes they are making when it also comes to organizing sports. And there I think that politicians have a different kind of responsibility, meaning that they should not travel there and be part of the tournament and green light both the actions of the FIFA and of the US president. So for me, it's not a general boycott, but I think as politicians, we should not go there and support.
A glimpse of The Ring there that you can catch the rest of course, on Euronews. What's your view here? What would you say to a kid?
Well, first of all, I don't think boycotts will solve anything in this respect. I think we should not deprive fans of the opportunities to follow their favorite teams. This is, I think, one of the moments where people can come together. This being said, I think, of course, football should be accessible to everyone. And I'm quite happy to see politicians around the world organizing and making spaces available for people to come and watch their favorite teams. And this is also an opportunity to highlight that here in Europe there are governing bodies in sports like UEFA, who has a fan-first policy which makes these games, these sporting events, accessible to people, and that's the kind of sport that I want to see.
Well, you mentioned UEFA just on the Champions League we saw a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, the games were dampened by the violence that broke out in Paris. What's your responsibility here as the EU Commissioner for Sport to try and improve the situation?
Well, of course, sporting events have to be safe, but this also involves a lot of coordination between the hosts, in this case the countries which would be hosting these games, and the bodies which are organizing them. So there needs to be a lot of coordination in this respect to make these sporting events as safe as possible.